What's up, everyone? The new intro is super duper hype. That's on my main man, DJ DA. That's what we're going to call him, DJ DA. The intro, I love it. We are back with a reckless abandon. It is Super Bowl week. Let me get to the crew. My main man, the snuggable, the lovable guy, the scoreboard guy, Nukem, and my main man, DJ DA. We are in the house, fellas. It's feeling good. Talk to me, guy. What you thinking, baby? How you feeling, brother?
Oh, I'm feeling great. And I tell you one thing, I saw a couple Cardinal things in that intro and no Cub stuff.
That's
So I'm
right.
good with that. It's pitchers and catchers are reporting, and it's that time of the year, and I am loving it.
That's right. DA, talk to you, boy. Talk to me.
Hey, DJDA, that's taking me back to our day, back in the day. We'll just call it DJDA and the Get Fresh crew. That's got
Ah,
a
I
little
love
ring
it.
to
I
it, doesn't
love
it?
it. I
Got a
love it.
little ring to it.
You
Yep.
should have
Hey,
been nominated for a Grammy, my friend. I love the new intro. Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Huddle Up right here on the Missouri Sports Network, and you're in the Pizza Ranch studio. We're excited to be back. It is Super Bowl week. The game is less than 4 days away, roughly, and we are excited to talk about matchups. Who you think is going to win? We're going to talk a little bit about the spread and a little bit about the keys to winning this game. I myself, as you can see, I'm rocking my baseball attire. I myself, though, in the football realm, really think Philadelphia has a great chance of winning this game. Now, with Patrick Mahomes, anything can happen. Of course, we know that because he's magnificent. Probably one of the best quarterbacks ever put on a helmet and pass. But I think it's going to be an interesting challenge for the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend just because of what Jalen Hurts can do inside and out of the pocket. You know what, Guy? You're the resident hero here. We're going to start with you, then DA. You're my man. You're the new guy on the block because you're the newest, freshest DJ. But, Guy, what do you think of some of the keys to the game? And then DA will kick it right to you.
Well, I think it starts up front on both sides of the ball. Uh, you're talking about an Eagles offensive line that's the best in the NFL. You're talking about a team. The Chiefs played these guys last year, but it's a completely new defense or offensive line outside of Jason Kelsey. When you talk about Landon Dickerson, Jason Kelsey, Isaac Suamato, and Lane Johnson up front, they're the best offensive line in the game. The Eagles are averaging 120 yards per game rushing, which is number one in the NFL. They've scored as many points as the Chiefs have, all season long. It's going to be whether or not Chris Jones, Frank Clark, and then that linebacking crew, are they going to be able to step in and fill those gaps? Because they're going to see a lot of zone blocking. And when you're facing zone blocking, you're going to get pushed, and somebody may end up in your ear hole and you don't see them coming. And they're going to have to deal with that. And then you got to deal with Jalen Hurts and his ability to get out of the pocket and spread the field with his legs. And so I think it's going to come down to right there. And the same thing on the other side of the ball with the Eagles' defensive line. I mean, they led the NFL in sacks, 70 sacks on the season. They got three guys in double digits. I mean, everybody on their offensive front four is double digits in sacks. And here's a note that I wouldn't have ever thought. The Chiefs are number 2 in the league in sacks at 55 sacks on the season, but the Eagles they've got 70, and that's a huge discrepancy. You're talking about a defense with those corners on the outside that are young. With those corners on the outside, I'm not going to compare them really to the 85 Bears, but that front seven may be as close to what we've seen since the 85 Bears, or maybe that Ravens team of 2000 that was so good defensively. So Chiefs are just not going to be able to get behind in this game. And they're going to have to control the clock. And you saw that with the moves that they made this week, where they got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They activated him. He's a running back, hasn't carried the ball since November. But they know they're going to have to control the clock, and they've got Pacheco, and he's had a good season. But they're going to need running backs, and I think, and that may be an injury protection too. Is, hey, if we get a running back go down, we're in trouble. So they activated him, and I think that's, and Andy Reid is, his record after bye weeks. And the last game he lost after a bye week was the Super Bowl. But that's kind of my two bits there. I know that went a little long, but
You're fine, my friend. DJ, what are you thinking, DA?
Hey, the more you say, Guy, and the less I have to, the better off we all are. But I echo a lot of what you're saying. I think the key is going to be a lot of the Chiefs coming off injuries, especially Mahomes. He's had basically will be 2 weeks to have that ankle. We'll see just how good it is right now. He said in a press conference just 2 nights ago, in the opening night of the Super Bowl, that his ankle was as close to 100% as it had been in a long time, and they had a lot of people out, especially at the running back position. Pacheco was the one-headed monster in the backfield last week. Just with so many injuries back there. So Juju Smith-Schuster is coming off an injury. Hopefully they have all of their offensive weapons. I think that's going to be the key, is if all their weapons that were injured last week, or I'm sorry, week and a half ago, come back and be as close to 100% as possible. I think they stand an awfully good chance to win, because anytime you have a healthy Mahomes with a healthy cast of characters, I think they can match what Philadelphia is capable of on the offensive side. I think this is going to be the last shootout at the OK Corral. It could be a good one.
I'll be your huckleberry. Hey, here's what I'm saying, gentlemen. Here's what I'm saying. Philly came off a pretty, kind of, the game was kind of dull. Victory over the 49ers. 49ers lost two quarterbacks. Purdy went down, then the backup went down, and all of that was because of that rush, the inability to block Philly's front four, where they can then come behind and play different type of coverages, zone, man underneath. They can put people over top. It's so much that Philly can do because they can create pressure with their front four, with Graham and Hargrave and Sweat and Fletcher Cox, and also Reddick, who was really a linebacker, but they rushed him as an end. There's so much they got going on. I just like the ability to Philly to sustain drives, like A.J. Brown. And people say, well, you're just a St. Louis guy. You're born and raised in St. Louis. You hate Kansas City. And that's true. But what I'm basically saying is, what I'm also saying that Philly has one heck of a team. Philly has a team that's you couldn't put another team in that Super Bowl in which Philly would probably be an underdog. There would probably be favorites. I think they're 1.5 favorites this week. I'm just looking for Philly to kind of insert their will with that offensive line, a little play action. They got a great tight end. I just see a lot of things that Kansas City is going to have to defend. I'm going to go on record today. I'm going to take Philly by at least, I'd say not a touchdown, but maybe in the 5 to 7 point range. It could get a little bit worse, but I'm going to take Philly in a one score game. Gentlemen, what are you thinking?
Well, I think you're probably right on there. And Philly may be a 2 touchdown team. You go from the roster, all 53 men, all the way down. The only one that I think the Chiefs have an advantage is at quarterback, and probably the other biggest is probably the head coach.
Coach,
and something's got to give here, because Andy Reid is undefeated against Eagles since he's been in Kansas City. He has not lost to Philadelphia. They didn't play this year. They played. I think they played 4 times. I think he's 4-0 against them. And there's a storybook to this. When you talk about Andy Reid going back and taking on his old team that he led to 5 consecutive NFC championship games to, didn't win a Super Bowl with them, and he kind of gets unceremoniously relieved, and then he gets the Chiefs job 30 minutes later. He's got the Chiefs job, and the only guy to win 100 games in both leagues, in the AFC and the NFC. And the fact, and I know there's been a lot of talk about this, but it's the first time in history that there's been 2 black quarterbacks starting against one another in the Super Bowl. I've heard a lot, Doug Williams, talked about he was the first quarterback man of color to win the Super Bowl as a quarterback. And there's been a lot made about that. And I think that's good for the country and good for the sport. And then the fact that here you got Mahomes he's in his 3rd Super Bowl, and he's the youngest guy ever to get to 3 Super Bowls. He's, they've played in 5 AFC championship games already. But I just don't think that Mahomes is going to be able to do it by himself. And I think Philadelphia, just man for man, is better unless Sirianno maybe coughs it up. I don't know. Hurts he's not made a lot of mistakes this year. So I don't think he's going to cough it up. I think the Chiefs are going to have to take it.
Gentlemen, I'm all right here. I'm all with the tomahawk chop.
I love it.
I got to go with the in-state folks.
The homer
Chiefs
himself.
all the way. Chiefs all the way. No, in all honesty, I think it's going to be a very good game. I think it's going to be a fairly high-scoring game. But I think Butker comes through in the end, and Mahomes picks up his second ship in very few years, and many more to come.
Well, gentlemen, I can't wait to get the rotel dip going, get me some good wings going, and crack open a cold Bud Light, right? Or your drink of choice, let me say that, and just enjoy myself and enjoy the atmosphere. I actually think the day after should be a holiday. I think the day after the Super Bowl should be a national holiday, and we all take off and we just enjoy and just just love life from that standpoint of watching a great game. I got Philly in about a 5 to 7 point spread. My man Guy, the lovable, the huggable, Mr. Newcomb has Philly, and then DJ DA has Kansas City. Now, gentlemen, I would love to put a couple push-ups, but I think I got 3, maybe 5. But worse than that, I was going to do a couple sit-ups, and I think I got 1, maybe 2 in that category. So we're just going to leave it at this. Good luck to all of those. Hope everyone gets out of this safe, and we're going to move on to our next topic. And we're going to open up some things here. We're going to come back and speak about the Missouri State Bears and a little bit of Wyatt Wheeler's column that he wrote about the atmosphere of the Missouri State basketball game. That's something I like to address with our audience. Hey, once again, you're listening to Huddle Up on the Missouri Sports Network inside the Pizza Ranch Studios. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Everyone thinks their mom makes the crispiest, juiciest, best chicken ever.
No way. The country's best chicken comes from Pizza Ranch.
Hot and ready on the buffet, it's always available, along with your favorite comfort foods, like mashed potatoes and gravy.
Which are never lumpy, like my mom's potatoes.
Sorry, Mom. The country's best chicken, along with mashed potatoes and gravy, are always found on the buffet at Pizza Ranch.
Not only is Country Financial our insurance, but they treated us like family.
Relationships are the single most important piece of the puzzle. We always ask this question: what is the right thing to do?
Roger that. We are back and ready to roll here on Huddle Up on the Missouri Sports Network inside the Pizza Ranch studio. Once again, this is your main man, Johnny Mack. That's the lovable, the huggable, Mr. Guy Newcomb and DJ DA. We're back. Darren Archer, we're here. Hey, we're going to jump into a little bit of Missouri State and Mizzou basketball. Missouri State had an article written about them by a gentleman with the News Leader, and he basically was saying that the atmosphere inside of the Great Southern Bank Arena was kind of dull. Wasn't anything anyone was excited about to get up and go watch a basketball game on a Tuesday or Thursday or Saturday, and that things needed to be changed. I did not disagree with him, although I have very fond memories of a student at Southwest Missouri State, now Missouri State, and going and standing in line and getting tickets and being a part of that atmosphere with the wear bear hair crowd. Things has definitely changed, and not for the better. So I'm really trying to figure out how we can get this atmosphere to change here as a community and not be so lethargic when it comes to going to a game and supporting the Bears. Guy, you've been around this area a long time. You've seen the old JQA's field, 8,000-9,000 to capacity, Johnny Murdoch, Winston Garland, all those gentlemen doing that thing out there. And then it kind of went away with the new arena. Give me some of your thoughts about what transpired and what brought about this kind of displacement with the fan base.
Well, I'll tell you, I can remember growing up in Mount Vernon, and Charlie Spoonhour brought. That's the first time I saw Winston Garland. He brought his guys down to Mount Vernon to play scrimmage on our high school gym floor. And from that point on, every year at Christmas, I wanted SMS swag. I wanted SMS shorts. I wanted a shirt. I wanted to be in the arena. That was back, that's Hammond Student Center days. I mean, I don't go all the way back to the old arena, McDonald Arena, but this is at Hammond Student Center that was built in 76. So I grew up wanting to go to those games and then got to play on that floor in the blue and gold, tournament. And that was nice. Of course, then you had the guys like Charlie Spoonhour, and Winston Garland. And you mentioned those guys, Johnny Murdoch. Those guys were in the community. You knew who they were because you invested at least 2 years in them. In Garland's case, I think it was 3, and then a lot of guys got to play 4 years. So you knew those guys. You knew, Charlie Spoonhour when you'd see him in town. You had that kind of identity or that connection to those programs because you wanted to be there. And then, with the Lady Bears and what Cheryl Burnett did, then they were filling that up. I mean, they were the number one drawing women's basketball program in the country for like 6 years, and people wanted to be a part of that. And I don't know that it was so much the new arena, because you went from, Hammond seating maybe 8,000 to now the new arena probably around 12. It's a lot nicer. It's not a lot crisper. There's not really a bad seat in the house, but I think the seat assessments, the ticket sales, the prices, have just gotten so far out of hand. Plus the fact, like any of us, you could watch it right now on Bally Sports, or you could listen to it on the radio. There's so many other ways to get that information without getting out in the rain and getting out in the cold and paying those stupid parking prices and the stupid ticket prices and the stupid concession prices to go to a game. And I think that's what's pushed people away outside of the atmosphere once you get there.
I agree with it. A couple, I think the big thing, and actually I'll give them credit for this. The prices they've put out there this year for tickets have been very, very, very reasonable. The parking prices has always been an issue. I just think the outside, you got to get to that tournament, right? When you play to get to that tournament, there's this buzz about your program. Dana's a friend of Missouri Sports Network. He's a personal friend of mine, and he supports us immensely. And I know Dana's going to get things turned around, but we got to do our part too. The community has to show up and show out, so to speak. And the crazy part, I got invited to a Mizzou LSU game, floor seats last Wednesday. I couldn't make it due to the weather, and I looked online and I saw some video. And a friend of mine, Roland Young, sent me some video back, and the arena was packed. You know why? Because they had a couple big victories early on. They got that student body invested in what was happening, excited. Because last year Mizzou Arena wasn't like that, but this year they are. DA and Mizzou. If I'm gonna just pivot from Missouri State and go to the University of Missouri, the Tigers. Hey, they're doing some impressive things in Columbia, and they got a lot of people excited. And I'm not really sure if it comes down to it, if they get another big victory or two, they might get an at-large bid, So Mizzou is fighting right there in the middle of that SEC conference, DA. And what do you see that you really like about what's happening in Columbia?
I think they're in, unless they have just a complete collapse and losing the first round of the SEC tournament. They're in, based on their body of work already. And this all started, if you remember, back when, they're winning some games. They kind of got sucker punched by KU. They're early in the season, but they got to play Kentucky at home right around the Christmas time. Everybody's excited to see, an upstart program take on Kentucky, and they win. That changed the whole course of things. Hey, this is a squad that beat Kentucky, beat Calipari, beat all the McDonald's All-Americans, and it ignited a fire. And I'm telling you what, to watch the transformation of this team, which is basically all new faces from last year, and what Coach Gates has done up there has been nothing short of tremendous. He's got them in the thick of things as far as the SEC tournament is concerned. They're one game above 500 in the SEC. They're 18-6 overall. They're where they need to be to they've developed already a good resume that's going to hold some weight come tournament selection time. They just like it is with any other team this time of year, you got to stay healthy. You got to get through the grind. And I noticed the grind on them a little bit this past week. They went to Mississippi State. On paper, a game they probably should have won. But listen, the SEC is the SEC for a reason. There's not an off night in the SEC, even against the bottom dwellers. They're still pretty good. And they got away with an 11-point victory this week or later this week, which they struggled at times a little bit. You can kind of see the length of the season and the grind. It may be weighing on them, but when they start seeing the SEC tournament time and kids get excited about that and the possibility that they're playing for like you said, an at-large bid. And hey, don't be surprised if they make a very, very good run in the SEC tournament. I mean, you just take a look at the history of that tournament. You put together a string of 3 or 4 good days, which it doesn't really seem like too many teams in the SEC can, because you're just beating up on each other night after night after night. There are no nights off. So it's going to be very interesting. I don't think it's if they're in. I think it's a matter of which seed they are in the NCAA tournament. And right now they're playing for an SEC seed to advance into that second and semifinal night of the tournament. See where the chips fall.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm excited for the Tigers. I'm excited for the Bears. Hopefully, as we speak, the Bears will be playing Belmont tonight. Hopefully, they'll get a victory. And both programs are kind of our flagship programs. SLU is doing their thing. I want to talk a little bit about a little locally. I want to make sure I mention that the Lady Panthers, Drury Lady Panthers, have one loss on the season. I believe they're 20-1, and they're ranked number 2 nationally. So we got a lot of good things to root for around here, and I'm excited about watching a little basketball. March Madness. That's when I used to take off work, call in a little hooky play there on Thursday and Friday, and get ready for that tournament. There was nothing like it. I still get chills. So I'm excited, gentlemen. Hey,
Johnny Mac, real quick.
Yes,
I don't mean to step on your toes. Another team that we have to take a look at throughout the state is Central Methodist. Right now they're ranked in their women's program. They're ranked number 2 in the nation, have yet to be defeated, and really putting a hurting on people when they play. So this is a team that has a legitimate shot at winning a national championship and bringing that ship back home to the state of Missouri.
Beautiful, beautiful. I know. Hey, the local or the regional talent, definitely statewide talent, is enormous here in the state of Missouri, and the basketball product that we produce. Very proud to be from the show. Because we are definitely showing people what we're all about. Hey, we're back. We're gonna come back with our third and final segment. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Huddle Up on the Missouri Sports Network. We'll be right back.
Chevy Silverado. It's got the power you want and the capability you need to do the job, so you can get to the important work. Find new moments, find new roads. Get a $500 cash allowance on all 2022 Silverado pickups with a 2.7-liter turbo engine. Plus, unlock your code to claim $500 Chevy Cybercash. Visit ChevyCybercash.com today.
We believe banking should make your life greater. It starts with affordable options to meet today's needs and tomorrow's dreams. From smart account options that fit your style to flexible loans for what comes next. It means convenient ways to access and manage your money whenever you need it and wherever you're headed. Most of all, it takes great support. Someone you can count on for trusted guidance and to be there for you every step of the way. Great options, great convenience, great support for life. Great Southern Bank, understanding what really matters.
Hello, everyone. You are back inside Huddle Up here on the Missouri Sports Network. in the Pizza Ranch studio. I'm here, guys here, DA is here. And where we weren't last night was in LA, in which something happened that we might not ever see again. A milestone on top of milestones. A record was broken that we never thought would be broken. LeBron James, the king himself, broke Kareem Abdul-Jabbar record, all-time leading scorer in the NBA. He now holds it with 38,390 points. What an accomplishment. I'm going to start here. He's a great athlete, one of my top 7 players. I don't have him in my top 3. Some people have him as the best ever. But wherever you have him at, you must give him his props. You must respect his longevity, his ability to keep his body in shape, and to produce year in and year out. Hail to the king, LeBron James. He's on top of the throne, the new NBA scoring leader at 38,390 points. Gentlemen, DA, I'm going to let you go first on this. What are your thoughts about LeBron and how unique his skill set is, and his longevity and his ability to be considered one of the best ever? Where do you put him? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think right off the bat, just him being able to break Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record, that's a record that I didn't think would ever be broken.
Nope.
And I honestly don't think anybody will touch it now, because he came straight out as a high schooler, and you can't do that anymore without at least spending 1 year in the G League or college or what have you. So, I mean, that's 1 year of, potentially 2,000 or 3,000 points. And I just don't see that record broken. I really don't. Great accomplishment. I think you got to be tough when comparing players. For example, a lot of points from Jabbar, all points from Jabbar came from the paint inside, no 3-point shots. And you look at how LeBron James got a lot of his points was from 3. And so, it's comparing apples and oranges. I don't think it's really, and you're also comparing different eras of the game. Rules have changed. There's such a different era now than what it was back when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar started. I think as far as LeBron goes, and the talk of is he the GOAT, in my opinion, no. Does he belong on the Mount Rushmore of the NBA? Absolutely. I think he belongs up there. But in my opinion, the GOAT is none other than Michael Jordan.
There you go.
And here's the best way I can explain this. Anytime Michael Jordan is asked if he is the GOAT, he will say yes, and he does not have to justify why he said yes. Anytime LeBron James is asked if he is the GOAT, it has to be justified why he thinks he's the GOAT. That's enough said right there.
Well said, my friend. Well said, my friend. Guy, I'm going to come over to you. Tell me your thoughts on the accomplishment of Mr. James and where he fits in your top players of all time.
Well, I mean, he's got to be in that conversation. You look at, Jabbar played maybe 100 more games than he got to play. But what if Jabbar had been able to come out of high school and play? I mean, he lost 4 years. He didn't even get to play as a freshman at UCLA because they didn't even allow freshmen to play at the NCAA level. So he just got, he was at school for 4 years. If he gets to come out and play, and he adds 4 years to that record would be where nobody would ever touch it. He shot 5% better from the floor. And like Archer said, I mean, he had 1 3-pointer his entire career. And, LeBron's got 900 of them or 1,000. LeBron did it and played in 400 more games than what Michael Jordan played in. And he did it in a different era when the NBA was so much more physical. I mean, when Jordan went into the paint, he was getting hammered. And you had Karl Malone, I think, is number 3 on that list. I think Jordan's probably 5. I think Kobe Bryant passed Jordan even. But you look at that list, and that record stood for 35 years. And prior to that, I think Chamberlain had it when Kareem broke it. I think he broke Chamberlain's record. It's just a different era. And it's so hard to compare then to now. It's like comparing maybe a Ty Cobb, to someone that's playing today, an Ichiro Suzuki, who's not really playing today, but that's just so much different of an era. And basketball is a little bit newer sport with regards to professional sports. I mean, baseball goes back to the 1880s. Basketball doesn't even go back 100 years. But I don't think anybody's going to break that. And just like Art said, you can't come out now. And the one thing that may allow that is the nutrition and the physical, just the way that you train your bodies now and how you can take care of them is so different. We know so much more scientifically now that maybe you allow someone to play a little bit longer, but at the same time, you're also diagnosing things, like a sprained pinky finger that you would have never diagnosed before. And guys are missing games because of that, where in the past they wouldn't have. So it's apples and oranges. It's just so hard to compare the different eras. But for my money, Michael Jordan's the greatest of all time.
See, I agree with you guys to a certain extent. The apples and oranges, I get it, but really when I look at Mike, there was a transition between Mike and then Kobe came in and Shaq and the center kind of started moving away and everyone started getting smaller. You went away from the true traditional 5 post player until just you had these 4/3s that were playing inside. But I really think that Michael Jordan's game transcended. It could play in any era. And his aggression, the way he attacked the basket, his ability to post up, his fadeaway, his shot, his ability to work on his three-point shot, his inside-out game, he just transcended. That's why when you look at what happened 30 years ago when Mike started his reign in the NBA, it still plays in today's society because it was such a fresh style that most people now you still see a little bit in it. The rim is so wide open now, it makes me mad when I see a guy just come down and dunk after dunk after dunk after dunk. And you're going, man, if Mike played in this era, like I said, if he averaged 34, 35, you can put another 4 on there. Mike's averaging 38, 39. Now, I don't want to sound silly, so I don't want to say 40 because people, no way, okay. And I don't want to sound silly when people say, well, you got to play LeBron and one of the best because look at the numbers. But my eye test, I don't see it with the eye, but I do respect the man. That is my take. You know why? Because this is our show, and we get to say whatever we want on our show. Gentlemen, it has been a pleasure to get with you again. I would like to make everything clear. I myself have Philly because I believe Jalen Hurts is going to make a 3rd and 4, a 3rd and 6 into a 1st and 10. Let's keep the ball, keep Mahomes off the field. I got Philly, and I think they'll cover the spread. What do you say, DA?
Got the tomahawk chop all the way, baby. How about them Chiefs? Go get that ship.
All right, I got you. Guy, the lovable, the huggable, Mr. Nuke. What do you got, brother?
I tell you, I ain't worried about the Chiefs at 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 6. I'm worried about them at 3rd down and 1. Yeah. I don't have any idea what they're going to do. They're the worst team in the NFL at 3rd down and 1, and they're not going to do a quarterback sneak. Maybe that's why they brought Clyde Edwards or CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire back. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. And just a little breaking news here is that the Bears win tonight. So congratulations, Dana Ford, 61-59 over Belmont. So that's a big win.
Big win.
Dana Ford as they get back over 500 and move to 9-6 in the conference. So we'll see what Valpo did, and it's such a huge win for him. But I'm rooting for the Chiefs. I just don't, and maybe that's like a reverse psychology.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't think the Chiefs beat Cincinnati.
It is.
I thought that's not going to happen.
Gentlemen, let's end the show on this. let's do a little signature dish here. When you get up on Super Bowl Sunday and you say, man, I got to make this, or if I'm not making this, I hope wherever I'm at is going to have this. You know, what's your signature dish? I'll start it off. Look, I like rotel with the hamburger meat and a little sausage in it and a little spicy. I gotta have my rotel. Da, what's your signature dish that must be at your Super Bowl party?
Jambalaya. Gotta have
Oh,
jambalaya.
my
We have Super Bowl parties usually here.
I
Matter
love
of
it.
fact, Guy was over a couple weekends ago for the AFC Championship, and we had a nice spread. Had a lot of home cooking that he brought over. He had a very good queso dip and a little jambalaya, and
Oh man.
good. It was a good day.
Yeah, for our viewing and listening public, I missed the invite, obviously. All right.
Here's your
Newt,
sign.
what you got, buddy? Newt, what you gotta have, Newt? What you gotta have?
Well, I tell you what, and I took it over to the Archers that night, was that sausage and rotel with that cheese. And
Oh man.
I love that with those dipping chips. I can sit there and just make a meal out of that.
Yeah.
I'm a big chili guy at this time of the year. I like chili or ham beans,
Yeah.
anything that can go in the crock pot that'll stay warm for a long time. So I ain't got to
Uh,
worry about it. And
uh,
I ain't got to, once you get it cooked, you just put it in the crock pot and leave it there. Just go get it when you want it.
I love it. I love it, gentlemen. Hey, gentlemen, it's been a great show. DA, I'll keep checking my message. You know what? Maybe you went to spam. That's why I didn't get that invite.
Yeah,
Maybe
check
it went to
your
spam.
junk mail. Check your junk mail.
Everyone, this has been another edition of Huddle Up here on the Missouri Sports Network. We've been bringing it live of the studio. We'll be back next week. We'll let you know how our predictions went. Talk about the Bears. Talk about a little bit about Drury, Evangel, Missouri Tigers. We'll talk about a little local sports next week, and we can't wait. We hope you're back with us again. Thank you for listening. You've been watching and listening to Huddle Up.
This has been a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network. Thank you for tuning in.